Hello, nation. Oh, wait a minute. That's your line.
You're right, Bill. Hello, nation. Today we're going to talk about something you've probably never heard before. Evidence-based hope. Bill, I know that's been a topic that you've been speaking to healthcare professionals and patients at the Taking Control of Your Diabetes conferences. What the hell is that? It sounds good, though. Hope.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Really, it comes from something very important that we've seen over the past few decades that I'm sure you see all the time, which is we know that so many people just feel doomed by their diabetes. They feel like it's inevitable that terrible things are going to happen to them no matter what they do. Actually, we know from our research it's the most common form of diabetes distress there is, this feeling of hopelessness in the face of diabetes. And of course, if you feel that way, it leads to you losing your oomph. I mean, if you feel like diabetes is going to get you no matter what you do, who's going to have the oomph to put out the effort to try and do what you need to do, to try and remember to take your meds, to try to live a more diabetes-friendly lifestyle? You can see why that would happen.
You know, I mean, even myself, if I see someone at the airport who's got a seeing eye dog that obviously blind, the first thing I say to myself, I wonder if they have diabetes. And I can't prevent myself from that. Now, this evidence-based hope, obviously it's helpful for people with diabetes, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, but how does that affect caregivers and family members? Does that relate to them as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we know it isn't just people with diabetes, it's the family members, it's loved ones who often can feel the same sense of just despair and pessimism that this is just it. Terrible things are going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. And to be fair, we do know bad things do happen to folks, right? We do know that oftentimes people can have serious vision loss. We know that people still end up on dialysis. Bad things happen. But we've learned so much, and things have really changed over the past few decades, partly because of taking control of your diabetes. Things have really, really changed.
That's where the evidence comes in.
Yeah.
So what is some of that?
So when we talk about evidence-based hope, it's letting people know the truth, that things are different. So when people tell me they feel really doomed, I say, you were really right 50 years ago. But hey, it's the 21st century. So we know some things now. We know some things that are very important. And the most important thing is not that everything's going to be great, you don't have to worry about your diabetes, but we now know with incredibly good evidence that with good care and effort, odds are pretty good you can live a long and healthy life with diabetes. We have evidence about that in type 1 diabetes. We have good evidence about that in type 2, and we can get into the details if you want.
And I think one of the studies that we show all the time is that if you keep your diabetes at a fairly good level, not absolutely perfect, that you could live longer than someone your same age who does not have diabetes. And that's shocking, because I'm not sure the reason why, but I do know people with diabetes pay a little more attention to their blood pressure, their cholesterol, because it's all part of the package. And if you don't have diabetes, you may not be paying attention to that. That's my theory.
Yeah. You may remember one of my favorite slides I like to use in my talks about this is I always refer to the most famous physician from the end of the 19th, earliest 20th century.
Sir William Osler.
Very good. Oh my goodness.
I pay attention to his lectures.
And he said, the secret to living a long and healthy life is to develop a chronic disease and take care of it. And back then, people said, oh, that's nice. But now we have so much good scientific evidence that shows us that, we have to state it carefully, that odds are pretty good that with good care and effort, you can do well. We can't make any guarantees because, a lot of the reasons complications can develop aren't related to metabolic control. We know there's genetic factors and more things that you're aware of course.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you want to give hope, but it's not a guarantee. Well, what would you say in closing if you looked right into the camera and the viewers are out there and they're scared to death that they're going to develop a complication of diabetes or someone they love, what are some of the closing thoughts you would say to them?
I would say the most important thing is this. As you know, we've done this many times. We say, remember my favorite true-false question. People believe it's true that diabetes is the leading cause of blindness, amputations, and end-stage kidney disease. And we know that is now false. What's correct is that out of control, poorly controlled diabetes is the leading cause of those problems. And that well-controlled diabetes is the leading cause of nothing. And we want people to know that. Happy to provide tons more evidence, whether it's type 1 or type 2, to let people know how much things have changed now here in the 21st century. And it's worth putting out the effort to manage diabetes because the outlook looks terrific.
You know what? I don't think I could add anything more profound than that. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
So long, nation.
Thanks.